What are the challenges in licensing standard essential patents that you see?
Okay. First thing I want to say is I just want to give some background. In a standard settings organization, especially in the form of a consortia or things like that, there are many member companies or there are many organizations which come together to form a standard. And if you broadly classify these organizations, you can classify them into two: standard essential patent holders and standard implementers. There is always a tension between the interests of the standard essential patent holders and the standard implementers. If we look at standard essential patents, are they different from an ordinary patent, or are they a special group of patents? If that is the question, I would say standard essential patents are definitely a special group of patents because of this reason. If I have a problem statement, if I come up with a solution to that particular solution, and if I get a patent on it, if somebody approaches me for a license, right? I have a patent, and if somebody approaches me for a license, I can say, I'll not grant you a license for whatever reasons. And as a licensee, you always have an option to work around, come up with another invention which would solve the same problem, and get a patent on it. There is always a possibility to work around and solve the problem. But once you put your patent into a standard essential patent, standards, a standard is fixed after looking at several options, right? Let me say there are 5 solutions to the same problem: S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5. And out of these 5 solutions, if one solution, let us say S3, is selected as a standard, then S1, S2, S4, and S5 are almost useless because there is no market or there is no implementability, feasibility for those solutions. So from that perspective, standard essential patents are special group of patents, and whatever rules would apply to an ordinary patent should not be applying for a special group of patents. Issues with standard essential patents are these. If I am a member of a standard settings organization, normally standard settings organizations operate on 2 models. One is the royalty-free model, and another is FRAND, fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory model. And more than 70% of standard settings organizations today adopt FRAND principle. And if, as a member and a patent holder, if I have to include my patent into a standard, I do it willingly. And I'm doing it willingly in exchange of an availability of a large market wherein there are several licensees, standard implementers, who would get license from me, right? First thing is I'm including my patent into a standard on my own will and wish. When you have done that, when you have accepted to a FRAND commitment, later you cannot say that I will not license it to you. Or you cannot be selective in saying that I will license it to A and I will not license it to B. If that happens, then it could lead to abuse of patents, and there could be anti-competition issues. And let us look at a standard implementer and a standard essential patent holder. I'm going to issue 2. Standard implementer would always say the reasonable royalty should be, for example, 5 rupees. And the standards essential patent holder, for a standard essential patent holder, the reasonable royalty is always 100 rupees. There is no way that both of them can negotiate and come to a common point, because reasonable royalties, as on today, are being discussed between 2 parties, that is the standard essential patent holder and the standard implementer, right? And there are several cases on this. I would like to quote a case which was decided by the US courts, Microsoft versus Motorola Mobility, whereas Motorola Mobility was asking for a royalty of 2.25% on the Xbox that was sold by Microsoft, which had patents on 2 standards, IEEE standards and H.264. Finally, when the courts decided what the reasonable royalty should be, it was 100 times less than what was initially quoted by Motorola Mobility, right? On one hand, you are putting your patent into a standard and it is for availability of the wide market, it is for access for the wide market, and on the other hand, you are asking for a higher royalty, right? That is not what FRAND system is intended to. So fixing of reasonable royalty today is an issue. So my suggestion would be take it out from the realm of a standard essential patent holder and a standard implementer, and have a neutral body decide what the reasonable royalty is for a standard essential patent. And another issue is, I am a standard essential patent holder, I am negotiating with a standard implementer, I am quoting 100 rupees and the standard implementer is quoting 5 rupees. When we have injunctions available, then the standard essential patent holders today there are at least few circumstances where standard essential patent holders are using injunction to threaten the standard implementer. If you don't agree to pay me 100 rupees, I'll go to the court and bring an injunction, right? Injunctions should be out of the standard essential patent realm. That is my second suggestion. What I mean by that is, standard essential patent holder and the standard implementer would negotiate. If they don't arrive at a reasonable royalty, they can go to a third party which can decide what the reasonable royalty is, and once the third party decides what a reasonable royalty is, it is binding on both the parties. If the standard implementer is not willing to pay that reasonable royalty, then only temporary injunctions should be available to standard essential patent holders. Otherwise, it should not be available, right? If you look at what's happening in India in the last 16 months, there have been at least a number of cases related to standard essential patents. And we are seeing this. Temporary injunctions and expiry injunctions in standard essential patent litigation has become a norm. When the entire world is moving away from granting temporary injunctions or expiry injunctions, when it comes to standard essential patents, India is adopting the way where standard essential patents, expiry injunctions are granted. It will definitely bring businesses to halt. I am putting my patent into a standard to make it available for everybody, and on the other hand, I am going and seeking injunction. These are two contradictory views, right? So I talked about 3 issues. Fourth issue is, if this is my device, if I have a Wi-Fi chip inside this, right? And if my standard essential patent is related to the Wi-Fi chip, which could cost $20, today I am asking, as a standard essential patent holder, I am asking royalty on the price of the system, which is $400. If my standard essential patents are in a Wi-Fi chip, why should I pay royalty for the cost of the system? 2.25% of the